to Week 8 of the Hearthstone Legendary Series brought to you by ESL. This weekend is going to be where we give one final spot away before we go to our offline finals happening in February later this year. My name is Frody, and today I'm joined by Azumu, who took a temporary leave of absence to do some great EPS casting last week. And how you doing, TJ?
Doing well. It was fun to watch Raynad filling in for me as a guest caster. This week he'll actually be playing.
That's right.
So looking forward to seeing that. He had a little bit more respect for us after 2 days of 8-hour casting sessions, and I don't really envy him sometimes as a player either. So
it's tough. It's tough being scrutinized as much as he is. But he's one of 8 players that we have for today. Who do we have the rest of the 7 players, TJ?
All right. Well, Fishyy and LonelyLink, that's going to be the first matchup of the day. Both these guys are top legend players. Raynad versus Phrase is going to be the second match. Phrase we actually saw in week number 2 make it to the open bracket, so he is a two-timer. It's a really tough thing to do. Then Santa versus Gooby Sencho, making his 3rd time back from the open bracket, which is incredibly impressive. And then we're going to round off the day with Unk Tennis 23 and Kawiyat. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Yeah, that's going to be the hardest match to catch, just because we don't know what these guys are playing or who they are, but also we probably don't know how to pronounce their names correctly.
Exactly.
And we'll be self-correcting ourselves quite often. So it should be a fun day. Single elimination for anybody tuning in and wondering how the things were, like how it progressed. If you watched the first few weeks, you noticed that it was double elimination in the open finals. We're transitioning to single elimination because that's how the bracket was. It felt a little weird to go top 4 double elimination from that point on for final 2 spots. Sure. This time, it's much more of that open finals nature. And of course, you get to see some of the new rising upcoming stars. You know, Delay, now that he won last week and got a spot, people are pretty excited to see some other faces that can appear throughout consistent weeks, placing really well and some strong play.
Definitely.
And of course, if you guys are also on the internet here, thank you so much for tuning in, and we recognize that it's been a long process. It's been 2 months, but part of the reason why we've been able to sustain and keep the lights on is thanks to our great sponsors. We want to thank them over at Newegg Esports, as well as Plantronics, Western Digital, Crucial, and Cooler Master. If you could check out all the links and all the promotions that we say throughout the broadcast, it really helps us. And it shows the sponsors that Hearthstone community is pretty serious about, staying engaged, and that way they can funnel the prize pool. We can play for the players travel all over the world, and more importantly, they can get some big money, $20,000 for the offline finals in February.
Yeah, it's a pretty big deal, and we do this week after week, and I know a lot of you out there really enjoy watching these guys play it week after week, and it really just wouldn't be possible without them. So if you're looking to upgrade some of your equipment or just maybe looking to support us, then go ahead and check out the sponsors, right. maybe purchase some things.
I think I'm about to buy a new computer thanks to my roommate / producer here is Milkcast. He was helping me assemble some of the parts, and he'll help me build it out. And it's all, we get Newegg stuff, and it felt good because for a long time I've been using this like kind of okay laptop. It's pretty strong, like 4 years ago, but it's time to upgrade it to play Hearthstone. I don't care. It's going to overkill a lot. An i7 for Hearthstone. I'm going to do it.
You can do that on your phone.
Thanks to Newegg. Well, let's see if we're ready for the first match. I believe we are. Let's take a look at the match plate and see Fishyy versus LonelyLink the first time they appear. And a few things stand out to me, but the one thing that I noticed immediately is we have 6 different classes, TJ, here today. The metagame has been in a flux. People don't know exactly what's best. They're getting a feeling of it. People are really high on Druid right now, and of course Warlock is still great. But I'm expecting some interesting and unique decks here today.
Yeah, for sure. It's very diverse, and we saw it a little bit last week as well. I think every single class was brought last week, both in the open finals and in the actual match day. And to see just right off the bat, just such a diverse lineup of classes, it's really interesting. Last week we saw Savige bring out the Fatigue Mage. Mage is really, really diverse, and I think looking at the deck list, a lot of players are actually bringing Mage today. So it'll be interesting to see what these guys, what type of Mage these guys are bringing, because there's just so many on the ladder right now.
I feel like Fishy's camera angle makes him look like he's lying down. Is that just me?
He might be.
It feels like he's laying down right now and chilling. He could be on his laptop and using his webcam streaming right down. Yeah. He could be on his iPad technically and doing that too, I believe.
He could be holding his phone, playing it, and then holding his webcam in the other hand.
His arms are going to get pretty tired.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not for game 1, though, because we do have Hunter versus Warlock. I'm pretty sure we get a general sense of what Hunter will do. But what will this Warlock be? Will it be Handlock or will it be Zoo? I'm leaning towards the handlock because I see Priest, I see Paladin, I see two classes that really like to control the state of the board, or sometimes just go for strong tempo plays, and I think handlock would be fitting of it. Then again, Zoo is also such a strong deck in the metagame that you can't ever argue against bringing it.
Well, it looks like it is going to be handlock, judging by those cards.
Yeah, Zombie Chow and Zoo doesn't really fit anymore. I think they experimented with it a little bit in the beginning when Naxxramas first came out. I think Trump was the one putting Zombie Chow and Zoo because he says Zoo is not aggressive, it's a board control. But
sometimes you need to be aggressive.
Yeah. Okay, well,
Glaivezuka.
It might be one of those games, depending on how the handlock can respond to this Hunter deck. Handlock against Hunter is pretty tough, TJ. What are some of the keys that you think handlock needs to win nowadays since post-GVG?
Molten Giants are definitely a big go-to. I usually keep Molten Giants in my hand when I'm playing handlock against Hunter. Regardless, you just need to have a way to stabilize at some point. And once upon a time, this matchup was nearly impossible, but also taunts, early taunts, or just being able to control the board early or put pressure on early as a handlock is really good. Having plays early on is a big thing.
There's a lot of plays here. I like Ancient Watcher, though, because it has so many ways to be activated. It has the Ironbeak Owl to silence and become a 4/5 Yeti. It has the Sunfury Protector for taunts. It even has Shadow Flame in case the board gets way out of control. And you could evaluate everything that happens in the next couple of turns.
Yeah, a very decent start here for LonelyLink. Mountain Giant, not so great in this matchup.
Unfortunately not. I think that's just both sides of the draw. You had the Ancient Watcher was probably exactly what you wanted, and then you have Mountain Giant, which is the last card you want to see in your deck.
Yeah.
Do you think the Glaivezuka going onto the Knife Juggler here was the best outcome, or do you think that Fishyy wanted something else?
I think he wants to spread the love a little bit because he wants to force the handlock to sort of make a decision. Because you want the Knife Juggler has so much value innately, and because the juggles every single turn, it's a very high priority removal. So spreading the wealth a little bit and forcing him to make a tough decision.
Gotcha. So you're pro-communism?
Yes, that's exactly. Gotta spread
You're
that
against
wealth.
freedom? I found him, boys.
No freedom for the Clockwork Gnomes.
Well, he tapped into a further Earthen Ring Farce here. If he waits until next turn, he can drop this Molten Giant. The pressure on the board is not too high either. Do you think he can get away with passing here, going for the greedy play of a Mountain Giant next turn? Will he die?
He's such a high hell total for handlock to be at in this matchup at this point in the game. Sometimes you have to be a little bit greedy. I mean, he's got things to be able to stall out. Like if he gets that Mountain Giant down, he has heals and he has the Sunfury Protector. Sometimes if you put up a big wall, a lot of times hunters don't run Ironbeak Owl anymore. Sometimes face hunters do, but sometimes they don't tech it in. So a lot of times if you get a big wall up, it can be hard for them to break through.
Hold on. How much damage does Hunter have? It's 5, 9 damage right now.
Right now, just opened a Golden Iron Juggernaut.
Uh-oh. Reyna's probably opening packs. It's like, maybe I should put down my Warrior deck. Well, the thing about LonelyLink's position right here is when you pass and you have minions that are not on the board and addressing, you have to multiply it by 2. So the Leopard Gnome and the weapon attack and the hero power, that was 4 damage, but in your mind you actually have to say 8 damage, and you had 20 health. So you have only 12 health to work with. I think that's game. That Wolf Rider off the top. Or I think it can be one off, right?
One off.
One off lethal.
That's still scary.
Right. And like the hardest part to accept, and this is where the Mountain Giant play was probably a little bit too greedy, was that you can't just count what's on the board. You have to think that Hunter is going to be building up the strong momentum. So
yeah,
unfortunately, even though this Mountain Giant was a good observation from LonelyLink to spot that he could drop this Mountain Giant, it was just going to sit there dead for a long time. Because if he played this Earthen Ring Farce here, he could be doing Siphon Soul, he could be trying to get climb back for the board, and now he won't be in the awkward position of taunting up and then still worrying about dying, because he has to Earthen Ring Farce here. No, actually he's dead no matter what.
Yeah, he's dead.
Oh yeah. Because of the Leper Gnome. The Leper Gnome can get past the taunt with just a hero power.
It can be pretty enticing to try and build up a wall like that. It can be pretty enticing to go for the greedy play, but hunters just have so many ways.
Exactly.
Just to burn through.
It's too bad. It's just because I feel like Handlock really did have a choice here of being able to maybe climb back into this game. I guess it's different because even if he's surviving, how do you necessarily win?
Yeah. Oh, kill command off the top for a little bit of extra insurance.
Oh. Fishyy kill commanding himself. And smiling at it. While laying in bed, this guy is winning in more ways than one.
Indeed. Yeah, so the actual overlay was a little bit backwards there. We had Fishyy was playing the hunter, but his
I mean,
little thing
the
was on
icons
bottom.
were correct.
The icons were correct. It was just the webcams were a little bit wrong. So,
Sure.
But Fishyy did win that first game, so he's going to take a 1-0 lead. And a lot of people are saying that Handlock is in a better position against Hunter than it once was since GVG. But there's still chances for you to just get completely blown out. And he had a chance to make a little bit of a better decision there.
I think it's really tough because Hunter's holding like what 2 cards, and he had a Leper Gnome on board. He didn't know he had another weapon. But if you even assume he has 1 kill command, because kill command against the Handlock is just so important to have, it's still very optimistic to think that that Mountain Giant wouldn't have costed you. Because again, you have to multiply it by 2. You're passing his turn, taking damage. You play it. It takes your entire turn. You take damage again, and you have nothing to show for it. So it's one of those scenarios where, as much as you have to look for ways to win the game, don't throw away your opportunity to survive, or just throw away the game.
Definitely. And you also have to factor in the Leper Gnome as well, because you not only have to multiply the damage, you have to factor in the fact that even then, and there's just so many ways, you have to sort of realize Glaive Zuka a lot of the time just put into that aggressive face hunter. Yeah. So you have to realize that most of the cards in his hand are going to be for doing damage.
It's like another kill command. It's 5 damage effectively if you can get 1 hit with a minion for 2 mana. So
yeah,
it's pretty strong, and it's a card that people don't really play around that often. So I don't blame him for that. It's just more of he definitely has some preventative measures. Now we go into game number 2. I believe it's Druid versus Priest.
This is correct.
And this matchup is going to be interesting to say the least, because I think Druid has had is right now having its time in the sun. People feel like Druid is one of the best classes currently in the metagame, just because of its consistency that's been shored up a lot through attacking its weak matchups. We start seeing a lot of mind control techs. We're starting to